So I'm excited to be here at, of course, the Petty Garage, Richard Petty. Very excited to see you in person, Thad. Last time we saw each other was at Pocono, and that was certainly an exciting time. A big wall, and it was really different to be behind the pits and be in the pits when they're changing your wheels and tires and filling your gas tank. For somebody, for the first time, I was baptized with racing at that level, so I have to say it was exciting. So here we are in, let's say, the mecca of racing in your grandpa's garage. All around us in this room, which you can't see, but certainly behind us you can see certainly Thad's helmet and some wheels. It's a real tribute to where we're at. So as Fence Armor, we sponsor you. Thank you for wearing our shirt and having it on your uniform and on your car. I just kind of wanted to get a little bit into your head, Thad.
Yes, sir.
And maybe you could tell us a little bit about when you started racing and what made you think about going into that world.
Well, at 8 years old, we bought my first quarter midgets, and right out here in the parking lot, we set up cones, and Grandpa was out there telling us how to drive, of course. And my dad, my mom, and the guy that worked on our car, his name was John Hayworth, and he was here. So me and my brother went out there in the parking lot with our quarter midgets and had a little race, and then a few weeks later, my grandma got diagnosed with cancer. So we didn't race for a few years, and 4 or 5 years, and I was 12, 13, and I bought my first go-kart.
Wow.
And so we went go-kart racing, and I raced a few seasons of go-kart. Oh, actually only a season of go-karts. Right. And we decided it's time to step it up, time to go to the next level. And so we raced, and then a guy that used to work here, who's my crew chief, his name is Mike Cheek, and also goes by Grumpy. But, yeah, he was working here in the 90s, early 2000s, and he left, and he's doing his own team now. And so he came to my dad and asked about me and asked about me driving. And so we did a test with him, and I've been stuck to glue like that team ever since, and we've just been going right along.
Well, that's exciting. So it's in your blood.
You could say that.
So when you set up the cones, what kind of car is that with this midgets?
We had a quarter midget, so a lot of kids, I want to say between the ages 6 and 12, start racing in those. Like a lot of the drivers will buy those for their kids,
right? And
that's where those kids will start. And then so you can race, but you're really not old enough to race a stock car, but you're still getting the experience of passing and racing and doing all that fun stuff.
Can you get hurt?
Yeah, you can get hurt in any type of racing.
I guess where there's speed involved, there's danger.
You could say that. We don't look at it as much as a danger. We're just out there having fun.
Right. So, a lot of times kids, whether they're playing hockey or other sports, they start out when they're kids, but they kind of dies out. What do you think kept it going for you?
There's just so much legacy here, so much. This is what my whole life has evolved around, is racing. It was never like you have to be a race car driver, you have to do this, you have to do that. It was more like that was my choice. Actually, I was 8 when we bought our quarter midget, and that year at the Daytona 500, we had ran really good, and I was like, I could do this one day? You mean that could be me in Victory Lane at the Daytona 500 one day?
Wow.
And they were like, yeah. Let's get started. And I was like super pumped, and I still have that same enthusiasm every time I go to the track to drive a race car, because it's just what I love to do. It's what my family loves to do, and there's a really heavy legacy here that I hope to carry on.
Well, it was exciting certainly to see you in the car, and you could see how enthusiastic you seemed at the race. We were excited just by enthusiasm. And seeing that, you actually like what you're doing, you didn't begrudge getting in the car, it wasn't just another day at the office, it was something that seemed to be really special to you. What makes a car special to you? What triggers a good car and a bad car?
One you can win in and one you can't. Well, there's a lot of things that go into it behind the scenes that nobody ever sees. So these chassis are built from a bunch of metal bars. You can put these metal bars in any order, any way to make the chassis flex a little more, flex a little less, make the car freer, make it tighter. So it starts there. Then you get to suspension, you get to springs, you get to brakes. There's a whole lot of pressure on these wheels too during the race, and there's shocks and springs, adjust, and it makes a lot of difference on some of the changes you can make to make the car better or worse throughout the race.
So do you think any car can win?
I do not think that any car can win, but if it's set up in the right circumstances and properly prepared, it can win a race.
So is it more the car or the driver?
It depends on the track most of the time. See, some of the bigger tracks, it's more car. Some of the 1.5 miles, it's a little more car. Some of the short tracks, you're not on the gas as long, so the motor doesn't make a big of a difference. You're not on the brake as much. It's a lot more the driver at the short tracks and the dirt tracks and stuff like that. But once you start getting on the bigger tracks, the 1.5 miles, stuff like that, the car makes a difference.
Right, because I guess after each corner you're accelerating, and then you have to decelerate, so your brakes have to match. Is that the idea?
Yeah. Yes, sir.
And then, of course, matching the track conditions to the tires. Is that?
Yes, sir. So it's cooler, then the track has more grip, which will make your car tighter. If it's warmer, this is just in theory, the warmer's good until it gets to like a slick warm. The track starts getting greasy and slick, and then your car's free everywhere and makes it a little loose. So that's the difference. That's the struggle from practicing all day and then racing at night. You kind of want to be a little bit free, loose in the day,
right? So
that way at night you're just where you want to be.
Yeah, which was kind of reminding of Pocono. It was really hot. We were up in the 90s.
Oh yeah.
And that was so that would have been a greasy.
Oh yeah, really a greasy track.
Yeah, it was hot. So do you prefer night races or daytime races?
I don't really have a preference on night and daytime races. I just like to race.
Well, it is interesting getting inside a young man's mind when it comes, because we all have, my generation, I think anyway, and certainly all around here we see Mustangs and we see Camaros and souped up cars. I think everybody has a little bit of that race car feeling in their mind. And it reminds me, there was a Disney comic with Goofy, and when Goofy got in the car, did you ever watch that one?
Oh yeah.
How he became that madman. And oftentimes that happens. We get in our car and we get excited and we want to race, and obviously the road isn't for that, but always wondered what it would be like to be in your chair behind a NASCAR kind of deal, or ARCA car at the moment.
Yes, sir. Well, we look at it more of as we're having fun and not as much as a job.
Right.
And so then we do our job during the week and work on the cars and do all that, and then on the weekends we get to go play while everybody else. Yeah. But that's the fun part about our job, right. And it's totally different going 200 miles an hour when all the cars are going the same way as you, opposed to whenever you're on Interstate 85 and they're coming at you.
Yeah, that's right. And it's a whole other feeling. So Thad, we are a proud partner of yours, and we're excited as Fence Armor to be with you in your events, and to be with you certainly as if we were there in the car beside you. We're cheering you on, even though we may not be at that race. If you had a moment to speak to other partners, what would you ask?
What would I ask my other partners?
Yeah, I mean, in looking out there, what makes a good partner?
Just always being supportive, like you guys are. Y'all are always supportive, always there for me, and just everything you need in a partner. And then you never. I might have a bad race. You were at one of the races that wasn't very successful, but you were still kept me upbeat and were a little more enthused, because I was kind of disappointed in myself. You could probably tell after the race, but y'all were all upbeat and enthused, which changed the whole attitude of the whole night for me.
So what do you think? Do you need more sponsors, or do you have enough?
We have enough support. We need more funding to do what we have to do based on racing wise, but we have enough support for sure. But you can never have too much,
Well, that's it. So I guess really all these races cost a ton of money.
A lot of money, yeah.
So getting more sponsors to help you and to help the team would be a good thing.
Great thing, yeah.
Because then you can get better tires, or you can get better engineering, probably just inherently better equipment to do what you need to do, and that's to move on and to win more races.
Yes, sir.
So you can get more sponsors, and we all then win together.
Yes, sir.
And that's what makes us excited to be with you
Yes, sir.
at that level.
Well, I appreciate having y'all in the car every weekend whenever y'all come out to the track.
So when's the next race?
Our next race is actually Indy, September the 7th.
September the 7th. So to all our fans out there, if you can get out to
Indianapolis Motor Speedway on September the 7th, and I think racing starts at 8 o'clock, so just if you get a chance, just come out there and check us out.
So that, just to be clear, when you say 8 o'clock, do you mean 20 hours or do you mean 8 a.m.?
8 p.m., yeah.
8 p.m., okay.
Yeah.
Okay, just to be clear. So it's a night race.
Yes.
Okay, wonderful. So hopefully it won't be too hot. And that'll go on rain or shine?
No, we don't race in the rain,
Okay,
unless it's a road course.
okay.
Yeah.
And I don't like to watch in the rain either. So
Yeah.
that makes it interesting.
Yeah.
All right, super. So September the 7th
Yes, sir.
at 20 hours or 8 p.m.
Yes, sir.
So we look forward to that. We'll have that information on our Fence Armor page, and certainly probably wherever Stephanie decides to put this video, it'll be here somewhere. Please like and subscribe. Thank you for joining the Fence Armor channel. Thank you, Thad.
Thank you.
Cheers. So I've had this burning desire to find out why there is the petty blue. Can you maybe give us a little rundown on how that happened?
So at this shop, I think it was in the 60s. It was in the 60s. Okay, so they ran out of paint. They had white paint and they had blue paint.
Okay.
And they had to have enough paint to paint a whole entire car. And so they put the white paint and the blue paint together and mixed it up, and it made this color blue. And they painted their car this color blue, and so they took it to the track and raced it a few times, and they had so many compliments on how pretty that blue was and how nobody had seen that color blue. And so that's why it kind of just stuck. And so now they mix white and blue paint, and we get petty blue every week.
That's amazing. Well, who knew? Well, for all of you who are wondering, like I was, why this unusual blue, and I always seem to see different versions. I wonder if there's an official Pantone color of that reference.
Yeah, actually BASF, which is a paint partner here at Petty's Garage and all of our Petty organizations, has made a color, a PMS color, Petty Blue. So Petty Blue is an official color.
That's fantastic. So we'll need to get to them to paint some special fence armor one of these days in that petty blue version.
Oh, for sure.
Wonderful. Well, thanks for answering that burning question that I had in my mind.
No
And
problem.
some of you out there maybe have wondered yourselves where that all came from. Thank you.
Yes, sir.